what you gonna do, brother?
Oh, yeah!
Woo! What? What?
If you smell what the rock...
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. My name is the Big Alboski. That guy right there is Professor Keith, as always. And joining us after a long absence, after we haven't seen him or talked to him in a while, JCM, the one and only. What's up, man?
How you doing? It's really good to do anything wrestling related right now. It's been about 9 months that I haven't done anything in the ring, outside the ring. So this has been a long time coming. I'm happy to see you guys, and I have a lot to say tonight.
I can't wait to hear all of it. But first and foremost, my first question to you is, for anybody who knows you, everybody who's seen the first time you were on here, and you've popped in and out a couple times on this show, but how do you feel physically, and where you been?
I've been hurt. I've been wrestling hurt. 8 months ago, I've been wrestling hurt, and it's gotten to be accumulative to the point where I needed help to just go up the stairs with the railing of the stairs, just to go up. And I would pop, my last match, I remember I popped 4 Tylenols. I went out to the ring. I gave it all I had. I went back, and on the car ride back, I couldn't really feel my back as much, so it's just not that I couldn't feel it. It was just really tense. Next day was hard to walk. So I just decided to take a little break to get well and then come back. And, I've been feeling better, and actually just saw the chiropractor today just to see what it is. And the final diagnosis is a joint dysfunction to my SI joint. So and also in my absence, I've been going to school for massage therapy for sports. So
cool.
We've been, talking about all this medical terms. So I finally get to realize I know what that is, So, basically what he says is just 2 of my vertebrae are uneven, so they have to just put it back into place, and I'll be good as new. And I'm hoping to be back in the ring very shortly.
Did they give you a time frame?
No time frame, and I don't want to also promise you guys a time frame and it not happen. So I'm just taking it as it comes, and then when the time comes, I'll post it on Facebook about my return, and I'm looking forward to it. You have no idea.
Tyler's a big fan of 3WA. Tyler, big shout out. Say hi to Jay. He's saying hi to JCM.
How you doing, Tyler?
Tyler's the man. Tyler wants to be a wrestler. I think he's 13 or 14 years old, 15.
Oh, young, very young.
Right. I mean, he
wait a little bit.
He comes to every show, and he always asks a lot of questions, and he goes to the wrestlers and he asks them questions, which is really cool. Awesome. that he knows enough already at his young age to start picking brains of guys who are doing it is pretty cool.
Yeah. We start young, we got to start young.
Right. So you mentioned you had a lot to talk about on the, before we got started. So what's on your mind?
Taking 8 months out of anything, really, you worry about being rusty in the ring, or you worry about coming back and nobody really recognizing you anymore, or just kind of trying to, so I know that's not going to happen, but am I going to, am I going to move the same, or maybe I have to adjust to my skill set to just perform in the ring? Because it's important for every wrestler out there to take care of their health, no matter what level you are at. Your body is your performance skill, your performance tool. So it's been a tough 8 months, not even just out of the ring, especially out of the ring, because at one point I bought a new car and I had it, and then I lost it at Ida. I had to be rescued out of my car because I was in that flood. So I had to deal with that. So, and I've been going to school. So it's just been a busy 8 months, but the only thing on my mind is just to go back into that ring. That's the only thing that like I could think about, like just going back and performing it for everybody, especially you guys, and just giving people a good show, you know?
Yeah, I want to bring up something just real quick that I said on the pre-show to JCM. You know, there are guys that at every Triple WA show that I will talk to, Alan will talk to, that talk to us. JCM is one of those guys that, you know, he's getting prepared. He's doing what he needs to do to go out there and get in the ring and do what he needs to do. He's one of those guys that if he sees one of us, he makes sure to come up to us, shake our hand, talk to us. And I just want to put that out there that means so much to me as a fan, that someone that's in the business like JCM is, you know, has that level of desire to talk to me and to respect me. And I think that means the world. And also, I just want to echo what JCM's saying. You know, I think people forget. They think that if a wrestler is hurt, oh, he just took one bad move, or he had one bad night, or one bad thing happened to him. Every time a wrestler is out there in the ring taking bumps, it hurts.
Right.
They're causing themselves damage. And a lot of injuries are not because of one bad move or one fluke, or you're in there with the wrong guy who isn't safe. It's because of everything.
Right.
Everything they're doing. That injury, that moment is cumulative. It could have only happened because of everything else they're doing, even if they're being safe, even if every other bump is a completely safe bump. It's cumulative. It's all adding up. And that's why I say every time somebody gets in the ring, they're putting their body on the line for you, and they deserve your respect. Whether you are a giant fan of what they do or not, you need to respect their effort. You need to respect they want to do this for your entertainment.
Absolutely. Well, you know, a lot of people that even don't know anything about wrestling, like, you know, I'll talk to them and they'd be like, oh, it's like a giant trampoline when you're in there, right? I was like, not really. Like, you know, it's a giant trampoline with maybe like wood and like metal, you know, you bounce off that. But I had a friend of mine who actually came to a practice, and he was recording some stuff, and he was just like, you know, telling, you know, like watching me, and I told him like, yeah, you want to take a bump, you know, sign some papers first, but like take a bump. And he took like the first, second, third bump, and then he just looked at me. He's like, I don't know how you do this, man. Like, like his, you know, and he told me like the next day his body hurts, and like that was like the first bump's the worst bump you could take. But going back to what you said, yeah, like I take the time to go out to any fan and shake their hand, because they drove maybe an hour or 2 hours, or maybe just around the block just to see us. Like they chose to spend the afternoon to come see us or hang out with us. And that means the world to us, especially when they come up to me and I could see it in their eyes that they are a huge fan of wrestling and that they love this and they maybe want to become a wrestler. And I try to give them advice, which is go to wrestling school, get your training, and then, you know, because I feel like it's very important to get like a lot of training before you go out to the ring, because you could hurt yourself or other people, you know. So it's very important for you to like just collect all the time you can to train, take care of yourself. It's a clean diet. And I love all my fans. Even if they don't love me, I love them all, because without them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. It's important for, you know, to always have that rapport.
How much have you been paying attention to wrestling as a whole while you've been out?
Honestly, I've been busy with school, and because I'm going back to, you know, I'm getting myself back to school to get myself an education for massage therapy, so for sports. So I've been busy with that. I catch up with sometimes, like if I'm on Facebook or YouTube and I see that, like, you know, CM Punk returning was probably my favorite like comeback ever. It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was really cool. Like, and you know, sometimes like he took a break from wrestling because he had a lot of injuries. You know, that's a comparison that I have with him, because he wasn't like loving it at the time, and then he was also hurt. He had to step away and then come back. People like Edge, Daniel Bryan, they had to step away and then they come back at the top. You know, that's what I plan to do when I come back to Triple WA or any other place I wrestle for, is to come back and be on top, you know. And one of the things I wanted to do is finally go after that gold, maybe against Merrick Miami.
Whoa, really?
That is, I believe, is challenge issued.
It's up to Merrick Miami if he accepts that challenge, because it's been 5 years that I've been in the Triple WA, and I think it's time to really have some gold around the shoulder or waist, wherever I decide to put it. Really, just have gold under my name.
That's an interesting. Go ahead.
And I gotta say, I did notice, before you took the time off with the injuries and everything, we were kind of seeing a new JCM starting to emerge, maybe a more focused JCM, a little bit of a different attitude, maybe a little bit of frustration.
A little bit more aggressive.
Aggressive, you were seemingly forming a bit of an alliance with the current 3WA Tag Team Champions, Dog Nation.
Mm-hmm.
They've been a little conspicuous by their absence.
Don't get me started.
Well, hey, I give them credit. Dog Nation is out there. They're making a lot of waves, especially, Sage Matthews, Scumdog. He's wrestled, Dirty Dango. Things are just popping off for those guys, and I have nothing but happiness for them. They're talented. They deserve it. I know Alan's a little mad because we would love to have them on the show, but I've talked to them about it. They're busy guys. I believe them when they say they're busy guys, and it just hasn't lined up. One day, maybe the sun.
I even have Wolfman in my corner, getting a word in their ear because they also wrestle for SWO, and he has them Susquehanna, and he has them down there all the time. And they were just wrestling for him last week, and basically, no, they wrestled for him this week on the 18th, rather. And he's like, I'll stand in a corner with Alan and I'll get him on your show. And I said, all right, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna count on it. I'm not holding my breath or whatever. But we're here talking JCM. Yeah, you did kind of line yourself up with Dog Nation a little bit. When you come back, is there a plan to do that? Or if that doesn't happen, are we going to see that same attitude?
My position with Dog Nation, it wasn't, that I wanted to work with them. It's just I wanted to make a statement out there, because for 5 years I've been trying to make my way towards the top, and I just see it slip out of my hands. So I basically, in a sense, did just did that. Just make a statement that I'm not here to play games. I'm here to really go to the top and get the gold, because that's what everybody's goal should be in that locker room, to be at the top, So when I come back, maybe it's the same energy, maybe even more, but I want to make a statement and really go for that gold. No excuses.
You mentioned Merrick Miami, and the guy's been on a roll for over a year. I mean, the guy, not only defending that 3WA Extreme title, but also he beat Matt Cardona in September, and then since then he's got to run in with his trainer, and that's coming up that's coming up this week also on the 17th. He defends the title, but
I think everyone potentially looking at Miami should absolutely look at that match, because look, I'm a fan of Merrick Miami.
It's teacher versus student.
I don't always love Mr. Miami's attitude. I've said that, but I've also said when he's here, when he's not here, he has all the talent in the world. The only one that can stop Merrick Miami, I said before, is Merrick Miami.
Right.
After watching the last show, I wonder if Mr. Miami is as in control of his destiny as he thinks he is.
I don't know.
I think anyone who's looking to challenge Merrick Miami should absolutely watch this match coming up this Friday and study it, because you may find the chink in the armor. And I got to give JCM all the credit in the world, to quote Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you're not here to win gold and you're not here to be the champion, why the hell are you doing this?
Yeah, for the people that are really going for the gold, maybe it's just their weekend hobby, let's go out there, have fun, which is okay. But I'm a different breed. I want to go out there for gold. And one thing about Merrick Miami is that, like, when I first met him 5 years ago in the locker room, I shook his hand. He's a good guy, right?
Mhm.
So
Sure.
we had a couple conversations, and I said to myself, one day, I would love to really, like, be in the ring with this man and, like, this guy. Like, he just personates everything: talent, looks, personality. And
Mhm.
congratulations does go to Merrick Miami against Matt Cardona. Like, huge win for anybody, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a hell of a
ex
match.
ex
Hell of a match.
WWE superstar, former Intercontinental. The resume just writes himself.
Right.
Mhm.
That win is a great win. But there comes a time that you have to really focus on everybody that's coming after that title and stop patting yourself on the back, because he's going to keep patting himself on the back, but I'm going to swipe the title away from him and become the next champion in the future. And that's only a matter of when, not if.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that, Keith.
I was not either. We were not briefed on this in advance.
He said he had a
This is
lot on his
breaking
mind.
news.
He didn't give details. Like he said, I
No,
got
this
a lot on my
this is
mind.
breaking news right here.
I didn't know.
Like I said, if I'm here for any gold. So Merrick Miami is one of them, but I kind of want to talk about the hardcore champion JT Cage.
Oh
for a
boy.
second.
Oh my!
Well,
Don't
here's
say
the
his
thing.
name
Here's
too
the
many
thing,
times. You say his
JCM.
name too many times, it's going to show up.
Right. Can I stop you right there for a second? Because honestly, the man, when we talk about him, by some crazy magic, he just poofs out of thin air and starts running his mouth directly to the person that starts running his mouth about him. But with that warning,
I do want to say something on that topic though. JT Cage may be one of the most underrated and overlooked champions. I do look, we all have our problems with JT Cage from time to time to one degree or another. JT just is a man that cannot get out of his own way sometimes. But he is on fire in his own way right now. He has done a lot to elevate himself and elevate his championship ever since he won it at the last anniversary show. The man's in a video game right now, and you got to give him that. He is in a video game.
Can I ask you about that, Keith? Because you would know. No offense, JCM, but I'm curious. What the hell is that? What the hell is that Indie Pro 22 thing?
What I think it is that there's a person out there that is trying to get all the independent stars all over the world to get into this video game, and then they'll be on stream, which is like a streaming center for all games. And I've seen a lot of people in that game with JT Cage, and I'm just waiting to see if I'll be ever in that game, and maybe have a better overall.
Where's your phone call?
I'll one day I'll probably get a phone call and be in the game as well, and then maybe have a higher overall than JT Cage.
There we go.
That's funny.
I mean, there's a guy that I think the line is silently forming behind him, and it should, because he has done a lot, I think, to raise the prestige of the hardcore title. I'm paradoxically a guy that always talks about be safe. I want guys to be safe. I want guys to not hurt themselves. But at the same token, I respect hardcore wrestlers. I respect hardcore wrestling. I have some issues when we get a little crazier, when I see guys kind of just out there hitting each other with weapons for the sake of hitting each other with weapons. I do think there's an art form to doing, real hardcore wrestling, which to me is have some psychology, build up to the weapon spots. Don't just come out there with a garbage can full of stuff and just go, I have 5 or 6 different weapons. Let me hit you with all of them in the first 5 minutes. Like, no, let's make it matter. Let's build up to the first time I get you with one of these weapons, or the first time I do a wrestling move and I involve one of these weapons. That to me is a very special, unique kind of thing that the best that has an art to it. It has a psychology to it. It's not just what people call garbage wrestling. If you can do it well, I think there's an art in that is unique to that.
I also have a follow-up
definitely.
question to that, JCM, and that is
Sure.
you mentioned JT Cage, but the thing is, coming off of your injury, jumping in the ring with him in a hardcore environment, is that such a great idea?
To me, coming back to the ring is the only thing that matters. No matter if it's a hardcore steel cage, Hell in a Cell, I will do it because I've missed it for 8 months, and I won't let an opportunity miss me. If it's a hardcore championship, hardcore match with JT Cage, then so be it. I'll just have to, make sure that like I stretch more, I get myself prepared, and I go into that with 100% of my heart.
All right, man. Like I said, I just playing devil's advocate there for a second, but yeah, you mentioned. So you definitely got gold on the mind. You're mentioning Miami. You're mentioning Cage. There's other. There's also Greg the Mechanic Manuel has the High Impact title.
Right.
Which I'm sure you could, also. Obviously it's up to you, but to me,
I think there'd be some great matches there.
Oh yeah, I would love to dance with all the gold in that in the company. Whether it's Greg the Mechanic, JT Cage, anybody, even with the tag team titles. I've been really dying to really have a tag team faction with the Atkins twins because we've gone way back. Even the beginning of training, we've had each other's backs, and why not have each other's backs in the ring?
Speaking of the Atkins twins, Keith, I found out why they won't come on here.
Is that a story that we can talk about, or is that?
Oh yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
They don't do social media.
Only Brian is in charge of social media. And
right.
I think,
so what I'm saying is that I can't have them both together. I can have one or the other at one time or another.
Right.
Right.
So I actually I mentioned to Rob that you guys have been trying to contact him, and he actually would like to have a podcast with like me in it as well. And we could talk about more about
I'd be down for
our
that.
future.
I'd be down for that completely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think of all the wrestlers out there, Rob and Brian are my favorite to work with and to work against because we just have incredible chemistry. During training, even friendship, when days we don't work out or train together, we just like to either go to the beach or something, just have a good time as brothers,
What do you think of some of the what do you think of some of the other talent that have kind of started to make waves in your absence in 3WA, such as Flash Carter?
I honestly don't know much of him, but I do know that he's a crowd favorite, and I have to watch more videos of him because I'm not familiar with him. But
he's a high flyer. He's 20 years old. Very fast.
A lot of hustle.
He's a reversal master. Like it seems like he can reverse just about anything that you try to put him in. So he really does his homework. You could tell he trains hard at such a young age because he's got a lot of things. He's got a lot of fundamentals that usually 19-year-olds don't have. He just turned 20, but he's impressed the hell out of me and Keith for the past, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys too. What I love about him, I love his hustle, and not just what he does in the match, but at intermission, he's one of those guys who's always out there. He's always connecting with the audience. He's going the extra mile. He was out there selling foam fingers at the last show, which popped me being, so old school and WWE cool. And all that. I
want to know where the hell he got Flash Carter foam fingers from.
So did Miami. Miami was asking, where did you get those? I think I might have to start doing that.
That's awesome.
I know one thing he needs to start doing is get those palm tree earrings. I've got a little girl that is still bringing that up, dude. Make it happen.
Palm tree
Look
earrings
good.
for
I
Flash
don't-
Carter.
I don't
Or-
even know.
Oh,
What
there's Miami.
Miami.
Merrick. I've never
Yeah.
heard of Palm Tree's earrings. I've never heard of that.
No, you've met the kids I bring to the show. The little girl Ailey, she had an idea, and I told her like, go tell Miami she's shy. She's getting better, but she's still kind of shy around you guys. But she went over and she told Miami she thought it would be a good idea if he had palm tree earrings made up that he could sell.
What did he say to that?
He said he thought it was a good idea, yet they still haven't materialized. So, I know you're a heel, Merrick, but come on, make me look good. Make it happen.
I know, yeah, and deep down, he's just deep down, all that anger and like heelish energy. He's just a really good guy.
Yeah,
I've shaken
he
his hand before. He's just and he's on a level right now, and I'm trying to be at that level as well. We all are trying, like I said, and back to Flash Carter though. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I gotta watch some videos, and I would like to meet him and maybe get in the ring with him. Maybe have a couple matches with him because if he's technical, I'm technical as well, and I like to have a technical match with him. That would be great. I would love that in my future.
I think you guys could complement each other really well. I
Mhm.
think that could be a great moment for you to kind of help him and teach him a little bit because I think he's on a similar trajectory to where you are. So I think that would be great if you guys could hook it up one day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little shout out to Flash Carter. I'll meet you soon, buddy. We'll have a talk, man.
There it is. Yeah, he's getting booked more and more. Like you said, he's a fan favorite. Full of energy, as his name would suggest. But it seems like the more he's getting out, he's really good at self promotion because he's getting booked at other places. Like if I follow him on social media, he's wrestled like 6 times in the past 2 months. So and he's booked this week too, twice. He's booked on Friday and he's booked on Saturday. So on Friday he's going to be in Quakertown, and on Saturday he's going to be in Susquehanna. So it's like
he's hustling. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he doesn't seem to have any wasted motion, and he doesn't seem to have any wasted step, and he's got that dream because he's young enough to really put the work in and really take care of himself, learn from the guys like yourself and everybody else that have been doing this a while, so he can stay healthy and he can get better and he can get to a place where people come looking for him rather than him going looking for people. You know what I mean?
Right, and if a lot of eyes are on him and he's only 20, I can only imagine where his career would be 5 years, 2 years from now, if he keeps at it, because it's about consistency,
Mhm.
It's about honing your craft and really working on on your persona and just being a larger than life character in that ring, and if the fans are already connecting with him, then he's doing something right. He's doing it all right.
Yeah, I just picked a name because since you've been gone, there's been a couple guys like him. Another one that you might know is Nico Gray. I think that
Yeah, I know
Nico Gray
him.
gets better and better every month.
Nico's stepping up in a big bad way.
Yeah, first time we saw him was 6 or 8 months ago, and ever since then, he's getting more into that character and he's getting more into his own as far as his ring skills go. And he's been taking on guys like not easy guys, like former champions and things like that, and he's been hanging in there with them. And then his match with Theo Ivory was pretty good. They have a good chemistry. They train together. That helps, but at the same time, it didn't matter. It seemed like they complemented each other and they just knew what each other was going to do. It was, you know what I mean? It was,
Right.
they countered each other well too.
Yeah,
And last show
sometimes
he had Slayer, and I think that was a great match too.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What's up, Big
Slayer?
Chris?
How you doing, Chris? Sometimes you meet people that you have amazing chemistry with, and you may have amazing matches with, and then some people that you don't click with, and that's fine. Like eventually you'll click. Maybe we gotta work on something. It's all about changing routine, changing your mindset. I've had bad days, I've had good days. Theo Ivory is one of the people that I haven't had a chance to be in the ring with, but I've had a chance to really digest his wrestling mindset, and he's got an IQ for wrestling that is very high. He knows the
listen
ring.
to this. I don't know if you're aware, but Theo Ivory at the last event wrestled or was supposed to wrestle Wyndham James Winthorpe III, and he had a family emergency. And in between, so he couldn't wrestle. So Wyndham ended up wrestling somebody else, and won. But then the next thing I know, I'm seeing Dog Nation versus Wyndham James Winthorpe III and Theo Ivory as a tag team for the championship.
Wyndham with Dog Nation? Or
no, Wyndham and Theo Ivory against Dog Nation.
Oh, okay.
So imagine that.
It's a huge change, but sometimes this company, in the wrestling company, it's all about changes sometimes.
Oh, man, I have a comment coming through that might interest you.
All right, hang on, let me just get myself ready.
I've been hearing some rumors that I'm being brought up here, gentlemen. Is this true?
You've heard, Merrick, you've heard right. I've been out for 8 months, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be out for maybe another 8. It's only a matter of time since I'll come back. And like I've told everybody here, I'm looking for gold, and I see your match, and I've seen what you can do in the ring, and I would love to have an opportunity to be in that ring for that championship.
There it is, Merrick, Miami. We done said his name enough, Keith, huh?
I guess a big fan of the show, and I mean, look, he's the champ. He knows he's got a target on his back. He knows everybody's looking for him, and sometimes winning it is the easy part. Hanging on to it.
That's the true challenge, and I'll give credit where it is. Merrick Miami is one talented wrestler, very skilled in the ring. Even on the mic, that match that he had with Matt Cardano, it was a really great match, really great win. Like I said, but there has yet to be a Merrick Miami versus JCM match at Triple WA, and pretty soon when I get cleared to wrestle, I would love a chance to dance in the ring with him.
I would love to see it. Honestly, with the role that he's on, I kind of hope that that's not your first match back. You know what I mean? I hope you wrestle a few times to get that, as you referred to it earlier, rust off before you take someone on like him, because he's been on a hell of a roll for the past year and a half, almost 2 years.
That's a fair point. I respect that. But I feel like maybe I've been in some sort of role for 5, but coming back that strong might not be a good idea. But maybe I'll go against maybe Flash Carter as a first match back, or Theo Ivory, or anybody really that would like to be in that ring with me. There's a handful of people that I can think of, so I respect that.
You don't expect to just come back and get an opportunity, do you? There are men and women in line already. Women? You'll have to get in at the end of the line, kid. I don't know about the women, Keith, but
I don't know either, and I feel like if Mr. Miami's not taking his challenge this Friday seriously, maybe he doesn't need to worry about the line.
By the way, in case you didn't know, I beat Matt Cardona.
Of course,
Look, I know you beat Matt Cardona. We all know you beat Mark Cardano. We all here the whole news about you beating Matt Cardano, but the same
It's a
thing that you
drinking game by now.
threw a challenge out at Matt Cardano. I'm doing the same thing here. I'm throwing out the challenge, buddy. And if there's a line, don't worry, I'll make my way. I know there's people that have been wrestling for 8 months that deserve that spot, but I'll be in line when I come back.
By the way, Merrick Miami is involved in a ladder match this weekend at the SWO event, How the Prince Stole Christmas, King of the Castle ladder match this week, this Saturday for SWO. He's also wrestling, as Keith pointed out, he's also defending his 3WA Impact or 3WA Extreme Championship.
Yes.
And Friday, so he's
if
also
Mr.
double duty.
Miami or anyone else is thinking that he does not have a tough task ahead of him this Friday, I can tell you from watching the last match, I don't want to get out of line here. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but he lost that match because he got himself disqualified twice.
Right.
I cannot remember the last time that I watched Merrick Miami wrestle a 3WA Extreme title match and give up both falls via disqualification. Yes, I've seen him give up one by strategy on a disqualification. But that second fall, if I may be so bold and go out on a limb, I smelled fear.
But hey,
So he better take this Friday very seriously.
Yeah, he's got Evan Atlas.
Yes, he does.
Evan Atlas.
And Evan Atlas. Right. And Evan Atlas
during that match had him at a standstill.
The thing
And
of
I don't think I've ever seen Merrick Miami at a standstill.
In Miami's defense, I will say this. He wasn't prepared for Evan Atlas. All right.
No, and
he
that's
was
true.
supposed to
That's
come.
true.
He was supposed to come to the show for Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving show, and he was supposed to let everyone know what's he been up to and what his future plans are. And out comes Evan Atlas and drops a challenge. And to his credit, he stood up to the plate. Now, of course, as you pointed out, he got himself disqualified, but a title can't change hands by disqualification.
Which he very well knows.
Right. So it's not like he, but again, now he's got to take him on again because, Dino Santa's trying to be fair about it.
Yeah.
To Evan Atlas. But, Evan Atlas.
I think Dino was fair at the last show because, if Merrick Miami didn't want to wrestle at the last show, he shouldn't have come out dressed to wrestle. You're the champ, you're not dressed to wrestle.
You always bring your gear, man. JCM knows that. You always bring your gear.
Always bring your
Absolutely.
gear. But the thing is, hang on.
Evan Atlas thinks just because he trained me doesn't mean he can just show up and get a title shot.
Well, he did, Merrick, and I gotta say, he looked pretty good while he was doing it. I hope you have a plan for this Friday because, in this observer's opinion, we know how good you are, but we got a very, very good tape.
ATM, if you're not going to be there live, I suggest you watch the video on YouTube very, very closely.
I do. I've watched a couple of videos of Merrick Miami, and all I gotta say is he beat Matt Cardano by a low blow when the ref was not looking, and that's the only reason why he beat Matt Cardano.
I drew one of the biggest crowds in 3WA history in September, and this is how I'm being treated. Unbelievable. Well, did you?
I'll give him that. It was the biggest crowd in September. People wanted to see Matt Cardano versus Merrick Miami in that ring, and everybody, especially me, that's a great match.
It was.
I was kind of disappointed at how he won with a low blow when the ref wasn't looking. I expected much of him, just to win clean and a clean slate, not really a low blow. Anybody can.
Chris Van wants to know if you have a dream match for yourself. If there's somebody that you have never wrestled that you would like to wrestle before your time in the ring is over.
like in Triple WA or just in
someday.
general?
I don't know if he means anybody.
I think
Well,
he's
Chris,
stealing
that's
your
a great
gimmick, Alan.
question. Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. If it has to be in Triple WA, I'm not really. Maybe like I'd like to be in like maybe a steel cage match for like a championship. That's a dream match there. Or
Steel cage
if
match.
if it's somebody outside of the ring, I would like to have a match with Marty Scurll.
Interesting.
Okay.
I like his persona, I like his fighting style. You know, I would love to have a match with Marty Scurll.
Alan, JCM just became your son's favorite wrestler, other than
Right,
Marty
yeah,
Scurll.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a mark for Marty
He
Scurll.
is, yeah, he's big on
Yeah.
Marty Scurll.
a cool
Yeah.
guy.
All right, so but openingly, I can't even talk.
You
There you
can't.
go. Hang on. Give him a second. He'll get it.
Openly
there you
challenging Merrick Miami. What the role that he's on, I got to give you credit for that, because you've been out, but you've been keeping tabs on it. You know the role that he's on, and so right now the role that he's on, he's a freight train, and you're willing to jump in front of that freight train while it's still rolling.
But that's wrestling 101 too, right? I mean, you've been out. You've lost that time. You did it for the right reasons, no doubt, to get yourself healthy, to get yourself healed.
Exactly.
But you've got to come back strong. You've got to come back. You can't just say, "Hey, I'm back. I'm here. I'm in the mix." You got to be like, "No, I'm back. I'm here to make a statement."
A hero of mine once said, "Sometimes you just have to give the fans what they want." And I gave them exactly what they didn't want. No one could ever take that win away from me, period.
And he's right.
It's not about taking the win away from you, but when you say that you personally drew the biggest crowd in 3WA history, I think that Matt Cardona had a little bit of a hand in that. You know what I'm saying?
Matt Cardona, he's an ex-WWE superstar. They hear his name anywhere.
To see him kick your ass. The fact that you came out on top on that, so be it.
I'll give him the credit. Maybe there's some people that wanted to see Matt Cardona win that match. Great, cool. But like I said,
most of the crowd was chanting "You're not ready" every time that he did a move to Merrick Miami, like any kind of move.
I wasn't. I watched the video, but I could only imagine the energy in that room.
Oh, we were in
that
front row, dude. We were in the front row, and that place was hopping. They were crazy. There was Matt Cardona fans that came that don't normally come to the show. Like, you had the 3WA faithful, and then you had the Matt Cardona marks in there with all their shirts and their freaking posters and shit like that, because they didn't dream upon their worst nightmares that Matt Cardona would show up there and lose to Merrick Miami. And I let me be honest here. Let me be perfectly honest here. I don't know about Keith. I can't speak for him, but I didn't think Merrick Miami was going to beat Matt Cardona. What I wanted to see was that he can hang with him, which, to his credit, yes, he can. And that's my respect was already high for him. It shot through the roof. But I was not expecting, whether it was chicanery or not, I was not expecting a win there. And he proved me wrong, and he proved all those dopes with the signs and the t-shirts wrong too.
I have been to WrestleMania. I have been to ECW house shows.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the second to last ECW pay-per-view, the Massacre on 34th Street in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Right.
And the energy that I felt that night in that match,
electric,
was worthy of WrestleMania and
awesome.
Those ECW matches to me.
If anyone complains about the outcome, that's on them. They paid for a ticket and knew exactly what they signed up for and who they signed up to see. Me.
I've warned him about that ego.
JCM.
I have warned him about that ego.
It's he's got an ego. That's fine. Everybody should have an ego when they wrestle. Everybody should feel like they're the man in that ring, And right now he may be the man, but when I come back to the ring, who's ready for me? That's one question. Who's going to be ready for me? Because I don't want anybody to take me lightly because I came back from an injury. I will be coming back stronger, and I will be in line for any championship that is accepted. Whatever challenge I put out there, whoever's ready, who's ever going to be ready for me, who knows? Because I'm going to give it all I got when I come back. I'm not going to be taken lightly when I come back. I'll guarantee you that.
And they should be worried about too. You've had that time off, and they can say, well, he hasn't physically done this. But you've had that time to watch. You've had that time to analyze. You've had that time to say, okay, I see where he zigs. And if it was me, I'd have zagged. And then it wouldn't have gone so well for him. They should be worried about that wrestling IQ and coming back and seeing that wrestling IQ put into action.
Absolutely. Don't take me lightly when I come back, because I will change your mind when I'm in that ring.
So while we're waiting for JCM to come back, and now I really can't wait for that to happen, because I can't wait to see what you can still do, and I can't wait to build up to Merrick Miami eventually. While we're waiting for that, this week, if you want to see Merrick Miami wrestle and you're in the Pennsylvania area out there, Merrick Miami is wrestling Evan Atlas for his title in 3WA, the 3WA Extreme Championship, this Friday in Quakertown. And then this Saturday, he gets a title opportunity chance in the form of a ladder match. Which he's on social media has been pointing out that he is 3-1, Keith, in his career in ladder matches. So,
and a ladder match is no joke, folks. I mean,
and ladder matches don't scare Merrick Miami, but he's in there with some stiff competition. And that event is this Saturday for the SWO in Seven Valley, Susquehanna Wrestling Organization, and all the guys that are in there. So 3WA on Friday, SWO on Saturday, and Merrick Miami will be at both places. So if you're interested in seeing him and you're in the area, if you're in Pennsylvania area, go see some local wrestling this weekend, take a break from Christmas shopping.
We're coming to the end of the wrestling year. I mean, end of the year in general. And I got to say, folks, whatever local wrestling you've got near you, I have a feeling, not knowing every organization that's out there, because
I follow a lot of them.
There's to know every organization that's out there, but I got to believe, folks, this is the time. If you haven't gotten into your local independents, do it now. They're wrapping up. These guys are wrapping up their current year. They're getting ready for their new year. What an excellent time to go out there and to get into whatever's happening locally, especially if you're one of those folks that says, man, I'm not jazzed about WWE. I'm not jazzed about what's happening over in AEW. I'm sad at what I perceive to be happening in Ring of Honor or anything like that. Go out there and watch your local wrestling, because local wrestling is like your local sports team. Absolutely. Go out there and support your local team and see what they're doing, whether it's, with us up here in the tri-state area in the Northeast, or it's down south, it's out west, whatever. There's wrestling out there, guys. Go seek it out. Give these guys your support, because we can tell you from experience, these guys love it as much as you love it. Go out there and share the love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love seeing fans come and support us. Like I've always said, without the fans, we aren't doing what we're doing. We would never do what we do. We would not have the drive or the energy inside of us like we have. When they cheer louder, we run faster, we bump harder. We just, everything is because of the fans. So
Miami's back with it. If you thought, damn, he's on a roll, 2021 was just the warm up. Big things coming in 2022.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Ladder
think-
match, Chris says ladder match, awesome. Hard to hear Jeff Hardy was released by WWE. Most extreme guy ever seen. It's hard for him because Chris doesn't really follow a lot of anything outside of WWE. And I mean, he does to an extent as far as AEW goes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
with Jeff Hardy was such a staple for years at WWE. And then he went to Impact, of course, with his brother, did all that kind of cool stuff. And then he came back. They had that tag match at WrestleMania, what a huge pop that was. And then Matt goes and gets signed at AEW. So Jeff Hardy being released, to me, Chris, I see how it affected you, but to me, I don't think that's a big deal because Jeff gets to end his career however he wants. Like he can do at this point now, he can do whatever. If he wants to go hang out with his brother and do some cool storylines in AEW just for fun, they could do that. Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
That was good. That was good. Yeah. I wasn't really, shocked that he turned down any rehab from WWE because you want to help him, but he probably knows what he needs. He can heal himself if he's going through anything. I'm not really sure what the deal is.
Did you see his his interview with Stone Cold?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
I have yet to watch the whole thing.
It's a great interview, and he dives deep into his alcohol problem and every other problem he's had, and then where he is now. And he talks about his career and all that stuff, but Stone Cold doesn't pull any punches when it comes to asking those questions that everybody wants to know. They don't want to ask him the same old questions about this match or that match. He actually dives into his personal life, just like he did Seth Rollins. The interview with Seth Rollins is pretty cool too, but the interview with Jeff Hardy is really in depth into Jeff Hardy's mind and how it kind of is operating right now.
I mean, Jeff's an artist, and I think people discount that. And I don't just mean in terms of his painting or anything else. I think Jeff has a very creative, artistic mind, and creative, artistic people tend to be a little different than the average person. And I mean, that can be good, and that can also be bad. The artistic mind can be a little more prone to making mistakes when it comes to addiction or substances or things like that. But there's also the point of, frankly, he could have just been bored. And I could see where he could be bored in WWE at this point, because I don't think WWE is really rewarding the artistic, out-of-the-box thinker when it comes to wrestling right now. Especially with, I think, who has been allowed to be around the Emperor and make the decisions right now, because, I don't want to slag on people, people power. But I don't think we have the best folks that are going to go to the talent and say, hey, I'm going to be your advocate. I'm going to go push unpopular opinions with the boss. I'm going to get you in a meeting with him, and I'm going to let you push something different. I feel like we've got guys now that are going to go to the talent and go well, this is what the boss wants. And if you're not checking the box, then, you're probably going to be just floating around in the opening matches and stuff, and you're not going to get anywhere. And I feel like that's not a great environment for Jeff Hardy. And I know from some of the folks I talk to, the knee-jerk reaction there is to say, oh no, Jeff's in trouble again. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't think we have enough information to say one way or the other. But devil's advocate a little bit, and I mean, to give Jeff a little bit of rope on this, maybe what we're seeing here is Jeff wasn't creatively fulfilled. Perhaps he created an out for himself, because I know that WWE contracts, for instance, if they take you off the road, if they put you into a rehab situation or something like that, they freeze your contract.
Right.
And they then turn around later when they unfreeze it and say, well, you owe me all the time
when
we froze this, and you now have to make up for that. And I know Jeff had, I think, 1 or 2 instances of that during this current deal. So
Right.
it may be that Jeff just finally decided, you know what, I'd like to go home and I'd like to do the next thing. And this was my only option for being
Don't you
able to
think
do that.
naturally? Don't you think naturally he'll end up with his brother one more time?
Maybe one more time. Yeah.
I think there's, I think there's going to be a lot of incentive for that. There's going to be some incentive for that creatively. I think there's going to be a lot of incentive for that monetarily. Certainly there are going
You
to
don't
be
want to
folks.
see them versus the Young Bucks. I know you love the Young Bucks.
I was trying to dance around that, and then you just called me out because I was saying
I know.
monetarily.
So
Because we know those guys are going to want, if they can, to throw as
I
much
want
money
to.
at the Hardys as possible to get them in the ring and beat them, so they can, gloat over that.
I have one more question for JCM because we're getting close to the top of the hour, and that is, do you think that I don't want to say all indie wrestlers because different indie wrestlers are doing it for different reasons. There are some guys that do it because they just love the business. There are some guys that do it because they have dreams of getting signed somewhere and doing this for a living. All right. And those guys might have had, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, dreams of being in WWE. Do you think that that's starting to change to where maybe they would rather not go to WWE? Maybe they would rather go to AEW now?
It just depends on timing because for a lot of guys just like me, WWE and NXT was the main goal, but then AEW came out. And what I don't like is that, like, at first they were saying, we're not going to be the company that hires a lot of ex-WWE people. And that's what they're pretty much doing.
Right.
But, yeah, they're giving all these young guys opportunities, but they're only giving, right now, the spots to the bigger guys in the industry. What about, like, the independent ones? Like, yeah, they have dark matches, but, like, I feel like they should have more TV time, more pay-per-view time, and stop getting people from, like, WWE that get released to over there, because then it's going to be the same thing. There's no opportunity here,
right?
So it's just a matter of timing. Like, whoever's in charge of WWE, they gotta think outside creatively to what the fans really want instead of what draws money. Because if you put what people want, then that's where the money will come. If you don't, then it's just going to be another problematic issue right there.
Big Chris, JCM, wish you well. Hope you come back and you'll be better than ever. Time away sometimes makes you work harder to get better. Good luck. Chris, thank you for chiming in, brother. You always support us. You support us every show, and I appreciate it to the max, and I hope you know that.
Yeah, I do want to do a slight pushback on what you were saying, though, because I do see what you're saying, and I do agree to a certain degree, but I don't think, other than potentially Big Show or Mark Henry, I mean, AEW had the chance to sign CM Punk, which they absolutely should have done. And I think their show has improved having CM Punk, and he makes sense within what they're trying to do. He fits their demographic and what they want to do. Bryan Danielson, I should say, because I absolutely hated the name Daniel Bryan. I'm so happy to call him by his right name again. Bryan Danielson, again, perfect fit and has done nothing but be great for them. I do see what you're saying, because I do feel like to some degree you have these guys, we know who they are. Maybe you need to make their appearances a little more special, maybe than what they've done so far.
Yeah.
But I think those two guys, at least, even if I quibble about how much I see them, they've been solid model citizens in my mind to AEW. They're not working each other.
Right.
They're going out there and they're grabbing guys that are younger. They're grabbing guys.
Adam Page.
Right. To go out there and help them and make them learn. So
MJF.
I don't see this as like a TNA or an Impact under Dixie Carter, where it was, let me grab everybody that has a name and then let them destroy my roster. I think the WWE pickups so far have been guys that make sense within what AEW is trying to do, and I think they're guys that have been model citizens that have started to help those guys out, because from your experience, how are you ever going to learn and get better if you only ever work with people that are on your level of experience or your level of things? You want to work with those guys that have been to the big dance and come down and say, okay, kid, let me show you something. Let me help you get to that next level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you just said, to be honest. Like, it makes sense. Like, don't dance with the guys who are on your level. Dance with the guys who could be at your level. Let's work on that.
Yeah, I just want to point that out there. I wasn't disrespecting any of your points. I just want to make sure we're all talking about, and we're not peeing on guys that I think are veterans that are doing the right things.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man, we're going to get out of here with you have the last word. I want you to have the last word, and I want you to say everything that's on your mind, everything. If you could sum it up, in case people, joined us late and didn't get, didn't catch it from the beginning. Everything that's on your mind and what we can look forward to as far as JCM goes in the near future.
All I can say is I've been feeling a lot better than I have a few months ago, and I've been feeling more hungrier than I've ever have, because for 8 months I've been just dreaming and daydreaming about being back in the ring, and I have a few ideas, a few opponents of mine, and absolutely, like someone pointed out, I gotta get in line. But I just wanted to put it out there that you're my target now, or he's my target now. Like, whoever has gold is going to be my target. And I guess you could say you can expect a more like a JCM that's more on point. Not wasting time, not more time. I'll be back for gold.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. It's been great catching up with you, brother. Again, I wish you nothing but the best as usual. I wish you a speedy recovery back to the ring, because I know you love it and I know you miss it. And we cannot wait to be there ringside when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And JT Cage, Merrick Miami, he's coming.
I'll be waiting.
And with that, we'll get out of here. Don't leave, but we'll get out of here. We'll see everybody next Sunday when, Keith, we have Mississippi's own, the Bruise Brothers, with our old pal Reggie Matthews and his partner back. Reggie's back with his partner this time. It's the Bruise Brothers from Mississippi, SWA's own Bruise Brothers. So look out for that.
Talk to them. Can't wait to get there.
Oh man, it's gonna be a bloodbath. I can't wait to see it. JCM, thanks for being on tonight, brother.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays
to
you.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Else. And we'll see everybody next week on Around the Turnbuckle.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you gonna do, brother? Oh yeah! Woo!